Sprawl and low density. Nearly 5 million people live in the Phoenix metropolitan area, a place that quietly wants them gone. Every summer the desert tries to push them back out, and every year Phoenix just builds more. So how did a city get this big out here, and how much longer can it really hold on? It starts with how Phoenix grew. Phoenix is what happens when a city forgets how to stop. In 1950, it covered just 17 square miles. Today, it sprawls across 518 square miles. That's not growth. That's a slow-motion land grab. The city ate the desert one thin strip at a time, annexing whatever it could reach, including whole neighborhoods like Maryvale and South Phoenix. And here's the wild part. With nearly all that land, Phoenix packs in only about 3,100 people per square mile. That's roughly a quarter of the density of Philadelphia, a city with about the same population, and that's just the city itself. Zoom out to the full metro, and one single suburb, Buckeye, has already staked out a planning footprint bigger than all of Phoenix. It started as less than 1 square mile, so everything sits far from everything else. If you live here, your nearest grocery store can be a 15-minute drive, even with 500,000 neighbors around you. Stretch a city this thin, and buses don't work, walking doesn't work, and every errand turns into a car trip. There just aren't enough people on any given block to make transit or a corner store pay for itself, so the car ends up being the only thing tying the whole place together. Phoenix didn't plan a city, it planned a parking lot with houses. Car dependency. Phoenix runs on the car, and it always has. The city pumps out roughly 10 billion vehicle miles every year. Yes, 10 billion. The whole place is wrapped in freeway loops, the 101, the 202, and the 303, a giant concrete belt built to fling growth even deeper into the sand. And instead of pumping the brakes, voters just approved Proposition 479, which funds 331 brand new freeway and highway lane miles into the 2040s. Let that sink in. Their answer to too much traffic is more road. Take the South Mountain Freeway. They fought over it for 30 years, then spent about $1.7 billion on one single stretch of highway. And roughly 65% of people here still drive to work completely alone. You've seen this movie before. You widen the road, more people drive, and a couple years later it's clogged again. They call it induced demand, and Phoenix keeps falling for it. Want a gallon of milk? You're in the car. Kid needs a ride to a friend's house. You're the taxi. Out here walking isn't a real choice, it's a punishment. And it gets so much worse when you find out who pays for it right after this. Weak transit. Phoenix did build a train. Almost nobody can actually use it. In a metro of nearly 5 million people, only about 2% of commuters take transit to work. Just 2%. And right when the city had a shot at fixing that, it blinked. In January 2026, the Phoenix City Council voted 7-2 to scrap the Capitol extension, a light rail line meant to link downtown to the west side. Why? State lawmakers fought it for months and pushed to keep the rail away from the state capitol itself. So a transit line in the capital city got blocked from reaching the capitol. You really can't make this up. And the price tag didn't help. Light rail out here runs around $250 million a mile. So instead, the city is pivoting the whole line toward Indian School Road. Hold on to that name, because it's about to come back for a much darker reason. Here's what all of this costs you. When the train doesn't go where people actually live, they stay stuck in traffic, stuck paying for a car they can barely afford, stuck breathing the fumes. A city this size should move people. Phoenix mostly just moves cars. Stroads. Phoenix streets were never designed for humans, and the numbers prove it. The city is a grid of massive arterials, 6 and 7 lanes across, posted at 40 to 45 miles per hour, with signals spaced as far as half a mile apart. Engineers have a name for this, a stroad. Too fast to be a street, too clogged to be a real road, and a nightmare for anyone on foot. One corridor says it all. Indian School Road in West Phoenix has recorded 118 pedestrian fatalities since the year 2000. That's the single most dangerous stretch of road in the whole state. And across Arizona in 2024 alone, 263 fatal pedestrian incidents were recorded. Statewide, the pedestrian fatality rate runs nearly double the national average. Pedestrians make up about 44% of the city's fatal crashes. The city even adopted a safety plan called Vision Zero back in 2022. The progress so far? 2 of 7 planned projects, done. So picture yourself crossing 6 lanes of fast traffic, no shade, in 115-degree heat with the nearest crosswalk half a mile away. That's not an accident waiting to happen. That's the design working exactly as built. A road built like that quietly tells you who it was designed for, and it was never the person trying to cross it on foot. And it only gets more dangerous from here. Urban Heat Island. Phoenix took a hot desert and engineered something hotter. All that asphalt and concrete soaks up the sun every day, then radiates it right back at night, so the city never fully cools off. In 2023, it hit 110 degrees for 31 days straight. A brand new record by a mile, and the nights barely helped. There was a stretch where it never once dropped below 90 degrees after dark, so your body never got the chance to recover. The pavement out there can climb to 176 degrees. That's hot enough to send you to the hospital with burns if you fall on it. And the shade that might save you? Phoenix has tree cover over only about 12% of the city, against its own target of 25%. And the heat doesn't hit everyone the same. The poorest neighborhoods, the ones with the fewest trees, can run 10 to 15 degrees hotter than the wealthy parts of town. By 2023, the county had set a new heat record 8 years running. That year, there were 645 heat-related fatalities, the highest on record, and the people hit hardest were the elderly, the poor, and the unhoused. Be honest with yourself. If you couldn't run your AC for 3 days in July, would your home even be livable? In Phoenix, for thousands of people, the answer is no. Water scarcity. Phoenix is a city of millions sitting in a place that gets less than 8 inches of rain a year, and almost none of its water actually comes from there. The Central Arizona Project is a 336-mile canal that pumps Colorado River water thousands of feet uphill across open desert just to reach the taps. It's the single biggest user of electricity in the entire state. And in June 2023, the bill came due. The state's own model showed the Phoenix area was short roughly 4.86 million acre-feet of groundwater over the next 100 years. So Arizona did the unthinkable. It stopped approving new groundwater-only subdivisions on the city's edge. On top of that, the state has already taken Colorado River cuts of more than 500,000 acre-feet a year as the river keeps shrinking. Out in Buckeye, there's a concrete bridge built across that canal to connect a planned neighborhood of 9,600 homes. The neighborhood got frozen. Today, the bridge is chained shut with a road closed sign. Locals call it the Bridge to Nowhere. And honestly, it's the perfect monument to a city that built first and asked about water later. Gulf lakes and pools. Phoenix is running dry, and it's still pouring water onto grass. The golf courses in Maricopa County use more than 80 million gallons of water a day. That's the most of any county in America, more than double Palm Springs. And state rules still let every course pour almost 5 feet of water onto each acre of turf, year after year. Across the Phoenix area, golf alone drinks close to 100,000 acre-feet annually. Then add the fake lakes inside master-planned communities and the hundreds of thousands of backyard pools, each one steaming off into that desert sky. Look, nobody's telling you to drain your pool, but a desert metro built around green lawns, man-made lakes, and lush fairways was never some accident. It was the sales pitch. It got marketed as a green oasis to people moving in from cooler, wetter places. And yes, a lot of that water is recycled. But in 110-degree heat, much of it just evaporates into the air, gone for good. You can conserve all you want at the kitchen sink. It barely moves the needle when the whole city's image runs on water it doesn't have. Subsidence and earth fissures. Phoenix has pumped so much water out of the ground that the ground itself is giving up. Drain an aquifer faster than it refills, and the land on top of it slowly sinks. In Arizona, more than 3,000 square miles of land is doing exactly that. And as it sinks unevenly, the earth tears open. The state has now mapped more than 170 miles of earth fissures, giant cracks that can stretch a mile long, open 15 feet wide, and run tens of feet deep. And these aren't tucked away in the empty desert. They swallow roads, snap gas lines, and split home foundations. One cracked canal near Scottsdale cost $820,000 to repair. One incident, one canal. And when the monsoon rains finally come, water rushes into these cracks, carving them wider and funneling pollution straight down toward the water supply below. When crews built Loop 202, they had to spend real money just to stop a fissure from ripping through the roadbed. Think about that for a second. You can raise the tallest tower and pour the widest freeway you want. But if the ground underneath is sinking and splitting apart, you didn't build a city. You built a countdown. Phoenix gambled that the desert would never collect, and that bill is finally coming due. Tell me your city's worst design mistake down in the comments, and subscribe for more.